All right, we're back for another podcast, another big movie crossed off the list. We both saw the Odyssey last week. It's the movie, I think, of the summer right now. We got a lot to talk about. You ready to do this?
Yeah, and I think it's made over nearly $700 million. I would definitely say it's the movie of the year so far.
Yeah, I would say it's the movie that's been the most hyped up.
There's no question. I mean, it's everywhere. So many people have seen it. It's every pop culture reference. Everyone was talking about it when it came out. And one of the true movie theater experiences we've had.
Sure.
You have to see this.
It's the first movie to ever be filmed completely in IMAX.
Yep.
I saw it in IMAX. You did not see it in IMAX?
I did see it in IMAX. Yep.
Methuen has an IMAX
Yep.
screen?
AMC IMAX. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so I saw it in IMAX. I saw it on, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday night. It came out the weekend before. Full house, 6 o'clock showing. Went solo. What was the theater scene for you?
It was the same thing. I was the Monday after it came out, just about sold out except the front row. And that's just awesome. That's kind of was like that universally. Unfortunately, we don't have a 70 millimeter, which is kind of the optimal Christopher Nolan suggested way of seeing it. There's only less than 50 theaters, I think, in the country that can do it that way. There's one in Boston. But people are flocking to see this movie. I know a ton of people who have seen it. It reminds me of back in the day, Jurassic Park, Independence Day, movie July, Blockbuster that you have to go to the theater for.
Huge cast, or huge big name cast, I should say. Just everyone that's ever been in a movie before once in their life, I feel like, was in this movie. So yeah, it was definitely the movie of the summer, dude. And I'm freaking glad that we saw it pretty quickly and we're already podding about it. So we got a lot to discuss.
Yeah, I can't wait. So before getting into the movie, so what's your relationship with the Odyssey?
If I read the Odyssey or was supposed to read the Odyssey growing up, I do not remember a freaking thing about it. So I don't know. Was I supposed to read that? Did we read that in high school?
You had to. I remember reading in high school, Mr. Petrillo's class. I remember that. I don't remember it vividly, but I definitely remember discussing it and then watching some weird old TV shows or things about it and stuff. But I definitely remembered, and while watching the movie, things came back. Remembered the different, not milestones, but almost battles along the way with the Cyclops and the Sirens and all that kind of stuff. And that stuff has been in just pop culture lore for all of time. You know what I mean? With you might not, what a siren is, right? What a siren's powers are. About Cyclops and all that sort of stuff. So it's just so baked into our pop culture, I feel like.
Yeah. So I can't say that I knew much about it going in. Obviously, I knew the Trojan Horse story. That's also another thing that's baked into culture. I mean, shit. TA's mascot's the Trojans, USC Trojans, Trojans are a thing. And I think it kind of goes back to this story as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. The Trojan Horse.
What was your overall thoughts on the movie in terms of did you like it? Did you love it? Is it one of the best movies you ever saw? Was it just okay? I want to chat about that stuff before we get into the categories.
I loved it. Could it be one of the best movies I've ever seen? I don't know yet. The one thing I will say about this movie is this is a movie, and if we had unlimited time and not as many responsibilities as we do, I would enjoy this so much more the second time around, because with the dialogue and who's who and picking things up, it's really tough on the first watch to take it all in. Whereas the second watch, when you know what's coming, you can kind of pay attention a little bit more. I look forward to watching it again when I can have some subtitles too. But as far as my expectations going into this movie, they were sky high and they exceeded my expectations. I enjoyed this movie was freaking awesome. It was so good from the beginning to the end. It held my attention the entire time. Jaw-dropping moments for how the hell did they do that? It was just so good. It's so good.
Love that.
What about you?
I think I'm a little bit below that. I really liked it. Obviously, it was an entertaining movie with great action and just great effects and great story. It's a Christopher Nolan movie. Yeah, how can I not love a Christopher Nolan movie? I didn't walk out of the theater loving it. And what you said, I think, applies to me too. I need to see it again. Dude, I'm looking at the list of the characters' names. I don't even recognize half of these names. It's very hard to wrap your head around who is who and what the relationship is between those people. Does that diminish the movie for me? I guess maybe a tiny, tiny bit. I think I would enjoy it a lot more in subsequent views. So I walked out of it thinking freaking glad I went to go see that movie. Really, really enjoyed it. I think maybe my hype was was maybe too high for my own good, because there was a lot of stuff like, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. And when people start throwing stuff around like that and I'm going to the theater, I'm like, I'm expecting to feel that. I talk a lot about other movies that we've seen over the past few months and like feeling something when I'm in there. I don't know that I like felt something. Maybe there was like one moment at the end that I felt like fired up, but otherwise I'm like, wow, this is cool. This is cool. This is cool. Like, I know that person. I know that person. And I also thought maybe the cast was like too familiar. I don't know if that's a real criticism. Like, there's just too many people that I recognize. Like, it was strange for me that way. I almost wish that some of the people were just, not the elite of the elite movie stars that have been in all of Christopher Nolan's movies. So, dude, freaking awesome movie. So glad I saw it. I don't want it to sound like I didn't like it. I think I thought it was going to be the best thing I ever saw. And it was just a very, very good summer blockbuster that I'll always remember.
That's a good way to phrase it to an extent. I'll agree with you to an extent. This was an epic movie to like the perfect T of like epic. Like, I think epic is like based off of the story of the Odyssey. It's so big and grand. Like, as far as like feeling something, there are so many more like emotional movies out there, but from a grand scale of all the locations they filmed at, how it was filmed, like you said, and I enjoyed the star power. Because I love hanging out with all of those people, specifically Damon. You and I are, we love Damon. Damon is like,
man, he's like a hometown hero.
And he's so good. So hanging out with him for 2 hours and 45 minutes was worth it to me. So, all right, I'm a little higher on it than you.
Yeah, which is fine.
Liked it. Yeah. It's reminded me of almost like Dune, in a sense of like, when I saw Dune the first time, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Then when I saw it a second time before Dune 2 came out, and I really understood like who was who and who were the Atreides and who I'm like, this movie's a masterpiece. So I think there is even more room to elevate our takes.
What a great comparable. What movie do I like better, Dune or The Odyssey? That's like a good thing. Like, dude, I freaking love Dune. I probably like Dune more than this movie. But yeah, dude, that's a great way to put it. As you figure out who is who and what the relationships are and the planets and the people and all that stuff. I think I can only improve my enjoyment of the movie the more times I watch it. So
yeah.
Other thought that I had before we jump into categories, where does this rank, you try to fight through the recency bias, in the all-time Christopher Nolan movies?
I knew you were going to ask this question, and you were going to be very disappointed in me, all right? Because there's 2 movies of his more recent ones that I've never seen, which I'm embarrassed to be on the podcast to say. So I have not seen Dunkirk, and I have not seen Tenet. So those 2 movies, like, those are literally 2 of his, like, most recent, like, 4 movies, I think. I haven't seen.
You're not a true fan. No big deal.
True, absolutely. Weirdly enough, Inception holds a special place in my heart. And I know it's not on the top of a lot of people's lists, but Inception's like, that's a rewatchable movie. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it might have...
I think Inception is one of the best movies
ever.
Like, I think Inception was just groundbreaking. And if I was going to rank my Christopher Nolan movies, I would personally put Inception above this. I thought Inception was freaking awesome.
So Inception would be 1. Dark Knight is probably 2. Because you can't get past Heath Ledger's, like, anytime The Dark Knight is on, which it's so good. It's just so good and it's held up so well. This could be 3 for me, ahead of Oppenheimer. Now, don't forget how good Oppenheimer was 2 years ago. It's not rewatchable, I don't think. Like, it's not like a fun watch, but it was an incredible movie. And I have a feeling Dunkirk and Tenet could be in there if I watched it. I just got to get my shit together and watch it. So what about you?
I don't think Dunkirk could be. I mean, Dunkirk's like a good movie visually to see. I would put that more on like the bottom of my list for Christopher Nolan movies. Tenet's sneaky good, dude. Like, there's a lot of moving parts. That's a movie you got to watch multiple times. Yeah. That's a movie you have to, as soon as you finish it, throw on a YouTube video breaking down everything. But when you really understand like what is happening with that movie, you're like, wow, it's an awesome movie. I still wouldn't put that ahead of this, but I'd probably put Inception, Interstellar, and Dark Knight ahead of this, and maybe this be in the 4 range. Dark Knight Rises, I didn't love. Prestige is sneaky, really good, but I wouldn't put it above this. Oppenheimer, maybe just a little bit below this. But so I'd probably put this in like the 4th range of Christopher Nolan movies, which is great, dude. All the movies are freaking awesome.
Exactly. Like, I would put this slightly ahead of Interstellar. But like, you're picking nits here between those. They're all such great movies. And again, like, Dark Knight might be just biased because is it a great movie or do I just love Heath Ledger's performance in that movie? You know what I mean? So it's tough to separate those 2.
That's a great one, dude. Everyone loves Dark
Knight.
Good. That was a classic.
It's so good. Like that, like really, I remember being in the theater, that like opening bank robbery scene. But anyway, let's dive into the movie here.
All right, let's do this. Odyssey, we're going to dig in, go through our categories. I'm looking at these categories. Some of them are pretty meaty in terms of like, we'll do our thing. We'll do our different categories that we have. We'll nominate some some different scenes or characters or whatever the case may be, and then we'll come down on our winners. Some things are actually a little bit light for me, but hey, let's just roll with it. First one, Hill Valley Clock Tower Award. This is the best scene, and dude, I actually think there's like a million things that we can go through for this one. So like, I'd be interested in like nominees and a winner. Why don't you start with some?
I mean, my list is like 10 deep, and I'm just gonna go out there. I loved the format of this movie where it almost felt episodic in a sense of like whenever they got to a new land, something would happen there. And I thought every island that they got to was like a home run. And starting with me, the Cyclops, that was the first time when they go into the cave and follow the sheep and the Cyclops walked in, that was the same reaction I had in Dune 2 when the guys were walking in the sand and all of a sudden started floating. The Cyclops just looked so good to me and the way he moved, and it was so well done. That whole scene was awesome for me. I'm sure that's on your list. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's like my first nominee as well, so I might as well just chat about it for like 2 more seconds. But yeah, it was great. Like the way that Cyclops was portrayed, I thought was a little bit different than what I would have expected for the Cyclops, which I appreciate. And I thought that was a great scene. I totally understand what you're saying with like each island, because like each one of these scenes each one of these islands is like a part of what I'd consider like some of the best scenes. So I'm gonna move on from the Cyclops. So
can I say one real thing about the Cyclops I just think so important of a scene is that when that was the scene when Odysseus shot him in the eye as like redemption, where you kind of realize like that wasn't the smart move to do. And it kind of made, like, I didn't know what to think of Odysseus up until the point, like, this guy's perfect. They had that flashback where he's like making all the right decisions. He's wise, blah, blah. But then he made that decision, which wasn't the right decision because it obviously came back to bite them in the ass. And I just thought that was really good of how they did that and brought him down a peg to make like a human mistake by letting his pride get the best of him there. So that's why I think that part of that scene was so important, setting things up.
Totally. Gave me a little bit of Lord of the Rings vibes.
Yes.
In Moria. You know. Yeah. I mean, anything honestly with a bow and arrow does that, but like just the big
we should, we'll do a podcast one time, just rank our favorite archers. We got a lot of them there.
That's easy. Okay, so next one for me, I loved the scene with the witch on the mountain on that island. Like I don't like, again, you might have remembered that sort of thing from what you know of this story. Like to me, it was all like, that was all new for me. And just the way they laid the scene, like something wasn't quite right over there. You just couldn't put your finger on what it was. And then like, you know, once they started eating the stuff and the way they were eating, you're like, okay, something weird's going on here. And then once they started turning to pigs, like, dude, I did not see that coming whatsoever. And I thought it was awesome.
So good. Circe, you know, an easy name to remember. Shout out Game of Thrones. But you knew, like you said, and how the movie opened too, with like the line of, in a time of apparent magic was how it was. This movie was definitely more fantastical. Is that a word? Is that even a word? Fantastical than I expected, which was really cool because we like that genre. And this reminded me of, I don't know if you remember the movie Witches with back in the day. You do remember that movie? And remember when
we're talking about in the conference there, and then like it's like a conference, they all got wigs on and mice, and and
they transform into the witches, and he turns into a mouse. There's all like practical effects. And obviously, the other one is American Werewolf in London, but that was all done practically. And from when you're walking up and you're seeing a tiger and like a lion and a leopard, and they're not attacking them, you're like, something weird is going on. But just the shot of them eating, man, was it good. Was that so cool, and how she went around and morphed everything with their faces.
With her hands.
Yeah. It was so well done, and Odysseus knew something was up. And Circe, I guess, she did it preemptively to these guys, thinking they were going to hurt her or rape her or something like that, even though they weren't going to, I don't think. But she was like on the defensive and had her reasons to do what she did.
Yeah. I was shocked when they transformed them back into the people. Yeah. I did not think that was like a realistic thing that
you thought you were all gone at that point.
Yeah. But again, I don't know much of the story, but I really just enjoyed that scene. That was like probably one of the more memorable location visits that they had throughout the movie. I just thought it was like really well done. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. It was awesome. Great. And I guess like not true. I'm sure you heard the not true from the book. I guess Odysseus stayed for like a year and had like a love affair with Circe for a year in the book, and may have even had a kid or whatever, but something.
Really?
Back then, they
cut that one out.
Omitted.
Am I gonna have to listen to the Odyssey? What's the Iliad? Is the Iliad like the prequel or something to this?
And Iliad is the prequel. Yeah. The Iliad is like, I think, more Troy, like Helen of Troy, that type of stuff, I think.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gotta reach out to Petrillo. Mr. Petrillo, shout out. Love that guy.
He's a fan of the pod, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got next?
This isn't, I don't know if it's so much of a specific scene, but the stuff on the boat in the bad weather, like this was right when they left. It was when they left Cyclops because Cyclops is Poseidon's son, and Cyclops yelled out to Poseidon as like they were leaving and stuff, and just the physicality of like the waves hitting the boat and them like going through the storms and the guys like working like their asses off and the oars like breaking. It was just such, and anything that was on the boat was so enjoyable to watch, and how they did that practically.
I cannot imagine being on one of those boats, like in real life. You know, like that. This is a way that they traveled and fight through storms, and obviously there's a lot of stuff going on there, Poseidon and bad weather. That's maybe not natural, but it's incredible. That's how people used to travel, and that was the thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that was just a quick shout out to that.
Boat wise, I really enjoyed the scene that Damon refused to block his ears with the wax and the sirens.
Dude, I mean, that scene is not my favorite. It's number 3 on my list. I mean, that whole sequence with the sirens, the acting he did was so good. And it was right before that where he was like, I want you to tie me up or whatever. And he gives this like look, like this Matt Damon Ocean's 11, like look on his face, mischievous or whatever. And I'm just like, Damon is just so perfect as this character. And we'll get more to the siren stuff a little bit later. But then when the guy took out the wax and there's just nothing you could do, you know what I mean? You're just hypnotized and he went off to his death.
Yeah, they jumped over, swam. Yeah. I just thought it was really interesting. You could feel like the agony that he had, the way he was acting, you know, just
God. Just shouting.
I'm glad it wasn't a longer scene than what it was. It was over fairly quick, and I thought it was going to be like torture for him for more than the handful of minutes that it ultimately was on screen. I'm glad it wasn't more.
You didn't even see the sirens other than like them being like a mile away, and you kind of saw them on the rocks, but you really never got it. I mean, in a lot of things that, you know, that's a 45-minute plot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They just kind of breezed through that.
They kind of,
which I was happy with.
Yeah. Keep it under 3 hours. There are a few things they breeze through here, but yeah, that's an awesome scene.
What else you got?
Just keep the island stuff going. The next island for after Cyclops was the giant island where they went and they found this like weird boy in like armor, and he just like looked kind of different and stuff, and then all of a sudden started shouting, and then the giants, these giant men in armor comes out and like takes out 2/3 of the fleet and all the men.
Yeah, dude. The boat got wrecked, and a lot of people died in that one.
But my favorite part of that was when they were coming over the mountain, which is all again practical. I don't know if you read this or not. So the giants were all like 7-foot men, like big cast, huge guys. And then the Damon's like warrior people were all like under 5 feet or whatever, like in armor. And that's how they made the like look like the height difference so much different. So I could have been asked as one of the
no kidding. Yeah, those guys were huge. That whole scene gave me Lord of the Rings vibes as well. The end of the first Fellowship of the Ring. Just like the hillside trees fighting, you know, like I was like, man, it feels like Lord of the Rings.
But the coolest effect was like the tree effect, where like the Damon's army was like running away or whatever, and then like a bunch of branches would like appear out of nowhere, and then behind them a bunch of branches like came up behind them and almost their cage, and then the giants would kill them and stuff. So just like really cool scene.
Love it.
Yeah. We're breezing through here.
No, we are. But there's honestly so many things. I'm going to try to work towards wrapping this category up because I feel like I could go through the whole movie. You know, like we're not even talking about
the actors.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a million things like about Back at the Castle. You know, like I kind of really, there's a lot of things that I really enjoyed about that. I loved learning about the suitors. So I guess this isn't going to really be a scene, but like, you know, learning about the suitors, you know, there was 118 of them or something, 120 something of them. They all eat in the castle every night, and they're trying to woo Penelope, and she's building a quilt every night, but then also like unwielding like the progress that she makes over the day. And then Robert Pattinson's character calls her out on that. Like, I just kind of liked the politics and the way people interacted. Love John Leguizamo, and I'll kind of wrap up on this whole idea in the castle in a second, but I love what they did with the dog. You know, they showed the dog early on in the movie, and Odysseus was there when the dog was like born, and they picked the dog or whatever. Were they throwing dogs off the cliff?
Yeah, they were. Right? That was one of the things I'll talk about. Yeah. Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So, but anyways, they picked this one dog, and then when Odysseus is gone 20 years later, like, you know, they leave the dog on the shit pile, and eventually he stays alive to see Odysseus return. So anyways, I liked a lot of the stuff going on in the characters there. I know that's not just one scene, but we could just keep talking about island after island after island.
I know.
And I did enjoy the stuff over there as well.
But I do have one specific scene I do want to call out, because I do have one on my list of that. It is when Anne Hathaway is like confronting Tom Holland's character, and she gives that like speech and about, the throne's been empty for 20 years, but I've been sitting on it or whatever. And she freaking puts on an absolute masterclass of acting. Just incredible. I thought that scene at the castle was my favorite one at the castle.
Yeah. I like that one a lot too.
Yeah. Like, oh, what's that?
You gonna save that one for the Bill Pullman speech award or what?
No, that was not my Bill Pullman speech, but I thought it was it was a good monologue and could make an argument for that. But I just thought that scene at the castle, that's why I wanted to put it here. So I'm
gonna work towards my last two. Why don't you fire away with all the things that you have left?
I have two left too. That's it. I have two,
okay.
And I would be shocked if they're not the same two.
Okay, then why don't you go first? Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will say my runner-up was the last fight scene with Matt Damon when, again, I had no idea how this was going to end, and I actually really liked it how Odysseus spent as much time as he did in the castle and, around as a beggar and all that stuff. But that last scene where he finally strung the bow, shot through the openings, and like then fought all those guys, that was obviously like an awesome scene in the movie. Like, obviously my number 2 favorite scene, but like that was just awesome. Like they've been building towards that for 3 hours. That was great.
The payoff with the plucking of the string was freaking awesome, because I've been doing that all movie long. Anytime he was hunting, he'd pluck the string to give the prey a heads up so they'd run, and then he'd try to kill it. You know what I mean? And earlier they showed a flashback of him stringing the bow and doing the plucking and then doing the axe thing. And Anne Hathaway in that scene couldn't be more smitten over Odysseus and fired up. That's her husband. And such an awesome scene. But when that happens, when he's the beggar, I see that playing at like in between the third and fourth quarter at the Celtics, like them gearing up the crowd and like Damon hunched over or whatever, and then playing music, and then you hear the pluck, the ding, and then Anne Hathaway stops and looks over. That was like the stand up, cheer out loud moment for me.
Yeah.
Like
I think, is this your winner?
Yeah, it was. I mean, this is like 1A and 1B for me, so I can talk about it as if it's my winner.
Okay.
The fight scene,
because I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like
the fight scene was good, but like this moment, the plucking of it was such an awesome payoff 2.5 hours into the movie. I love that scene.
Yeah. It was great. So then the winner for me.
Yeah. Maybe I don't have it. Maybe we don't.
What?
Maybe we're not the same.
I mean, I feel like if you don't have this, then I don't even know what's wrong with you. We probably could stop the podcast. But for me, it was everything around like the Odysseus being in the horse. And is this not what you have?
No, this is not mine.
Wow,
I have Trojan Horse.
Like that scene.
What?
This isn't even a scene that's worth discussing for you, because I personally loved them finding the horse on the beach, seeing the soldiers in there, wheeling it in, and then escaping it. Unfortunately, this was shared with us before the movie kind of came out. So I don't love that happen, and I wish that it didn't. But in terms of like my favorite part, like I loved everything about how that was filmed and the people releasing themselves and going around killing the Trojan guards. They throw the torch over the wall. You see all the soldiers. They let them in. It's a huge fight. I'm like, that was freaking awesome.
I did have that higher on my list, and I passed it because we thought maybe you'd bring it up too. I'm surprised you are missing one thing, which we'll get to. But the reason I didn't have it because it was broken up into like 4 different segments. So it was like, what was your favorite? The one when they like impeached the walls? Was it when they like, when like that?
It was. I would say like all the stuff that are revealed at the end. It isn't in there for me.
Yes,
it's like when they
get through the walls and they first come out was incredible.
Yeah, like that. And again, the way they do it is kind of spaced out, but like the idea of that plan being fulfilled and them getting inside and all the people around and the way it looked, I thought it was great. It was my favorite part of the movie. So now I'm intrigued though, because I don't know what you have and I don't know what I'm missing.
I'm surprised that this one wasn't even on your list, and I hate to go back to like the island hopping, but the Hades scene when they were there was freaking.
It wouldn't have been my number 1, but I did really like that.
It was I thought it was just how that was filmed, the darkness of it, the blood in the plate, and how you had to like they couldn't talk unless they went to it and like drank from the blood. or whatever. And then they talked about it. And I thought one of the most emotional scenes was like the Elliot Page and Matt Damon scene about like, why didn't you tell me the truth? And Damon's Odysseus being like, I needed you to like believe it, you know what I mean? And sacrificed himself. And I thought that whole scene visually was the best visually shot scene of the movie. I thought it was so cool. So cool.
Very unique. I did like that one a lot. I wouldn't have put that at the top of my list. I'm glad you brought it up. It was shot really well. And it was kind of a little bit of an exposition dump in certain ways as well. But with the king, right? What's his name? King?
Yeah, Agamemnon or whatever.
Agamemnon.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, great. I actually wasn't upset with Damon about the way he handled Sinat's situation. Elliot Page, being like, you lied to me. It's like, dude, freaking great plan. Like, there's, what do you want?
Might see it differently, but yeah, exactly. I mean, it really set everything in motion, and then you get everything back with Ron Pattinson's character back at Ithaca and all that sort of stuff. So, and then the guy, you get into Tyrese, that like the main like guy, like the guy that like got things going, like. I don't know. I want to know a little bit more about that guy too. But anyway, I thought that scene was great. But I will agree, the Trojan Horse, when they first get through the walls and they get out at nighttime and kill the guards and then drop the flame and Agamemnon and his guys are there, is awesome scene.
I did like the dropping of the flame. That was
and the first time you see Agamemnon is like insane. It's such a cool intro of a character who didn't quite have a huge thing to play later.
All right. Good. That's a whole bunch of things. There's a whole bunch of other things to discuss that I'm sure will come up. But then why don't we move on over to the Bill Pullman Speech Award, Best Speech, One-Liner. Dude, I actually want you to run with this category because I have a hard time remembering all of the different things that like people said. I have hard enough time with the characters. Like I want you to like tell me some of the things that come to mind for you.
I got three of them. Okay. One is the opening of the movie. All right. It's Travis Scott. Okay, and the rapper who played this character called the Bard, and he had this like awesome staff, and he'd go like, boom, a face, a fleet, a war, and it was just like it set the tone. I want to be introduced that way, like anytime I'm like coming into a building, like that was so badass and awesome. I just thought that, and he did that a few times. Really, I think probably every night before dinner for 20 years or long, but it was just an awesome like line, and I thought that was so neat and stuff. So that one was there.
Okay. Did you know that was Travis Scott?
I don't even know who Travis Scott is. So like, I don't know.
I didn't see it was afterwards.
What's that?
I saw it was afterwards, but I did not know in the moment.
Yeah, I didn't know in the moment. I wouldn't have known in the moment, but just cool for him. And I guess reading some stuff, he was obviously fired up to be cast in a Christopher Nolan film. So very awesome. So that's one.
What else you got?
The other one, this one's kind of gone viral a little bit. Pattinson. I don't know if you've seen this character, his like thing. We're gonna get to Pattinson a little bit later. But when he says this line, he's like, "Somebody get these beggars out of here." I don't know if you said that. Like that line, I've seen everywhere on my algorithm. Is like, it's like somebody get these beggars out of here. Is what he says, and I've seen that kind of going viral from people posting things online, which is good. So those are two of them. Do you have any to say or no?
I actually don't have anything to add to it. Like I really don't. I'm like embarrassed to say as we do this podcast. Like I've been giving it some thought the past couple of days, and like nothing struck me as like a dude. And as you say things, like it's good for me to be refreshed. But like I didn't have anything that I walked away from being like, okay, this is it.
Well, this is gonna strike you. I think this is like the best thing I think that came out of like the movie as far as the quote goes. But it goes back to the thing about the sirens and stuff. And they asked. I wrote it down. They asked Odysseus, like, what did you hear? What was the song? And Odysseus said, it told you what you most want is what you most can't have. And what you most can't have is what you already had and lost. And was such a great quote in one sentence, like really kind of encapsulated like a lot of things. And that shows why he was like so emotional. So like it told you what you most want is what you most can't have. And what you most can't have is what you already had and lost. So well done. Such an awesome line about the Siren song.
As I'm looking online, I see something about it was a delicious itch as well. I don't know if that's also what you said to describe it as well.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So you said awesome. Those are the few things I have that really stick out.
Love that. Well, then let's just keep it moving then, dude. If you're cool with that. We got a whole bunch of other things to discuss. But next thing, Jar Jar Binks Award, worst character you'd cut. Like, I actually think this is hard. Like, personally, I thought all the characters were pretty well used. Like, there's people that I don't like that we can talk about. But why don't we just start from there? What do you got?
I have two things. Okay.
Okay.
One, you've already mentioned briefly, John Leguizamo's character just throwing dogs over the cliff. Didn't need that. I didn't know why.
I actually loved his character. Like,
oh, no. I'm not saying his character. His character's incredible. Him throwing dogs specifically over the cliff, I thought was something I wouldn't mind them not doing in the movie. But
survival
I
of the
love
fittest, dude.
his character. So that was one thing I would say. That probably could toss that one part out.
Love that.
Okay. You have anything
Want me
else?
to just go? I really only had like one person, I guess, and it's not someone I would necessarily cut out. But I didn't love Antinous. Like, I just didn't like. Obviously, he was the villain of the movie, but like, it just didn't make sense to me the way he behaved.
Antinous Robert Pattinson's character?
Yeah, like I just didn't like him. Like,
I am shocked. I could not disagree more with this. Keep going.
you loved him.
I loved it.
No.
He's one of my favorite parts of the movie.
That's right. If I thought of overall the characters I didn't like he was probably the one. But again, it's not like I mean in a way that you cut him and he didn't have a good role in the movie. Like, I just thought he was a freaking dickhead for no reason. You know, like, it doesn't have to be that way.
But it kind of had to be that way if you were going to have like a villain. You needed to not like him.
Well, yeah, for the sake of having a villain in the movie, yes. But like, he just seemed like a freaking dick for no reason. You know, not every suitor was like him.
Did you like the performance?
Yeah.
Didn't not selling me on that. Yeah, it's okay.
I mean,
stick with you.
He's my least favorite part of it, but I understand the role he had to play in the movie. It just, I don't know. It's weird for me seeing Robert Pattinson in there, to be honest with you, too. I did have an issue with like the fact that all these stars were in there. I'm still trying to wrap my head around what I think of Tom Holland's performance.
Yep.
You know, like, dude, that's freaking Spider-Man, dude. You know, like, I'm having a hard, and you can say that about a lot of these people. You know what I mean? A lot of these people have played big roles in their career. Robert Pattinson was kind of that way for me too. Like, I had a hard time unseeing who it was. Like, imagine seeing Tom Cruise here. Like, dude, you just like, and not that those guys are on his level, but there's some stars it's like, it's hard to disassociate who they are with like the characters that they're playing.
See, I can understand the Tom Holland thing for sure because I liked Tom Holland. I even said I love Tom Holland as a person. And I mean, like, interview. I think he's just the man and a great guy. I can see people making the argument like he's literally just playing basically Peter Parker in this, which I could see making that. I think Pattinson is playing such a different, outlandish, like the tics that he would give, the conversation he had with like Anne Hathaway. I'm like, this guy's making a good point. Like, I'm kind of like, he like had her up until like the point where he said, until we have kids of our own or whatever. Even when he was like, when they were the challenge, he's like, hey, nobody can possibly replace Odysseus. We're not here to try to do that. You know, I thought he was great. And coming
played by him in those moments. Obviously, yeah. He's not like he's the smartest suitor, the most clever suitor. And he did a great job kind of politicking in those moments. Yeah, I just
maybe I can get more to, but I just want him to get the scene at the end when the weapons are falling through the hole, and he's like, "Get the sword, get the shield." I was laughing at, like, it was so funny, and he's so like treacherous and a wuss, and I thought it was so.
And he's not doing the fighting; he's just standing on the sidelines. Exactly. And, yeah, he did the get the sword thing like 4 times. Dude. Like,
it was so funny. I loved it. I thought Pattinson, maybe because I just watched the drama. I think Pattinson's the man. I thought he was probably one of my favorite parts of this movie.
Love it, dude. So who's your worst character then?
So the only one is actually connected to Pattinson is Mia Goth's character, who played Anne Hathaway. I don't know if you know who Mia Goth is. She was in Frankenstein. Her biggest claim to fame is this horror franchise called Pearl and X and Maxine.
Is this the girl that was kind of like his girl? You know,
yes, she was like the servant to Anne Hathaway and stuff, and like was obviously having a love affair with Pattinson's character. She's like a well-known, I feel like she's a well-known actress, and said like, I don't know, 3 lines in this movie and really didn't serve much of a purpose. That was one character I probably would have tossed, or the opposite, give her more to work with. So
yeah, I did not recognize her, but I know that, I mean, dude, the cast is extensive, you know, so I'm not surprised that she is someone. But yeah, but I actually found it to be a tough movie from this category's point of view, because it's not like I hated all the categories. Like, it was like great performances and everyone had roles, and, you know, so it was a good movie. You know, it's easier to have like worst character in like a shittier movie, you know?
Yeah, totally.
I'm just going to keep it moving.
Yeah, no, we're moving along here.
So next up, this is the Rocky Fighting in Russia Award. This is just that, like, the weird decision that doesn't make any sense, something that's out of place, a little bit of nitpicky stuff. What do you got?
I don't have a lot for this. I don't. So maybe you have more. Do you have a lot?
No, I just have kind of like a joke thing, to be honest.
Okay. I mentioned it a little bit before. Do you know at Hades, all right, the first guy, his name was Tiresias or whatever was his name, okay? That he like came out of the ground and got like things going. Who was that guy? Do you know who he was?
No clue.
Okay.
I do not.
I'm
So
sure that would
I'm
be
not helping.
explained, but I just don't know who that was and what his relationship was in the movie. So that's
I
all.
wish I could help there. So
Nope.
there's that for you. Okay, two things then for me. We joked about this one, I think, when I texted you after I saw the movie. But would it have been so bad for Odysseus to just stay with Calypso forever? That doesn't seem like that bad of a decision.
He would have just stayed there, kept chowing on the lotus flower.
They seemed like very happy. I mean,
Fresh
she's
fish.
fairly attractive. It wouldn't have been the worst decision for him to just stay there and call it good, like living in blissful ignorance.
So Calypso is a god, a demigod, a god, a nymph.
Is the word. I don't know what that means. Like, I don't honestly know. She's not a god.
She's not human.
Something. I think she's the daughter of
Titan?
I don't know. I got to get back online with my Greek mythology, but she's the daughter of someone. She's not just like a regular person.
Yep.
But she's fairly attractive. So I don't think it would have been a bad decision for him.
So when at the end of the movie, when Odysseus and Penelope are on the boat, and she's just like, you think she's like, all right, I just want to go through the timeline one more time, okay?
So what did you do for these 7 years?
12 years. Okay, so your men after 12 years died. Okay, so I understand Cyclops, like Circe, all that sort of stuff. But 7 or 8 years, what happened? Where were you again? How does he explain his way out of that?
Hey, dude. Hey, he had a good run. It wasn't his fault, but
That's
anyways.
No,
I don't know. I could have seen the movie just ending there and just being like, you know what? I'm good. I'm just gonna stick around here. So anyways, that aside, I have concerns about Odysseus' plan at the end.
Okay.
So he thought he was going to fight 108 suitors. I mean, he is Odysseus, but like it kind of went the way that I thought it was going to go. Like he could not overcome fighting all those guys. It just seems like there could have been a better plan for him, but maybe he had all the confidence in the world, but he was an older dude trying to fight like 100 and something guys. There had to be something better in my eyes.
I think the plan, well, he had to do that, right? He had to go in this way because they said he could. Someone told him if he just went in and said, hey, I'm back, that would have caused a war or something like that.
You are right. You are right about this. And I don't know all the technicalities of the way that all works. I just would have liked to think that there would be a better way. You're telling me the only plan that was possible that could have worked was for him to go in there as a beggar and then fight 100 and something guys. Dude, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Talk about a bad plan. How about from the other side? How the hell couldn't those guys take Odysseus? Like, why didn't they all just bum rush him and just take him down? I
actually thought they killed Odysseus at the end. Again, I know nothing about this freaking story. I thought he was going to die. And maybe, you know what? Maybe it was a great plan because everything worked out the way that he wanted it to. So maybe I'm the idiot and it was a freaking magnificent plan. But like, he freaking very close to dying. And it just seemed like a risky. There had to be some things they could do to tighten things up a little bit.
Half the suitors bend the knee, so that they won at the end. You know what I mean? But yeah, he was the only one with a weapon. He thought maybe, I don't know, he could do like Legolas style and just bow and arrow everybody. You know what I mean? You know what, Damon, how 55 years old, guy looked fantastic. Holy smokes.
Hey, he's the man.
I mean, he was ripped.
I'm more of a Calypso guy personally, but
she's 52. I think I saw it. Like she's like, and Anne Hathaway's 42, 43.
She's younger than me?
Yeah, she's a little younger than you. So that's a great point. And I almost would go on the other side and be like, hey, suitors, you outnumber this guy 108-1. Like, how can you not just like bum rush him? Robert Pattinson can just stay behind a column and just yell for things.
Which is fair. So anyways, a couple small nitpicks. There's probably other things to do there too, but I'm just going to move on to the Han Solo Award, the coolest.
Well, I had one more thing.
You had one more?
I had one more. Yeah, one more. And this is more like general conversation about it. And this may be kind of, you fall in this category. I don't understand the Tom Holland hate. I think it's gone way too far. And I think it's ridiculous.
So there is hate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Vanity Fair wrote out this, I don't know if it was Vanity Fair or Variety Magazine, one of the two, listed like all the performances in this movie and like ranked him like dead last. And I'm like, and like not in a positive way, not like everybody's good kind of way.
I can see that.
That's
why I said I'm still wrestling with my thoughts on it. Like it just wasn't my favorite performance. So I could see why people should talk. I've seen none of this. So that's all interesting that it is kind of aligns with kind of what I'm thinking, even though I haven't heard that.
I think he did exactly what he needed to do. Telemachus or whatever his name is, it wasn't supposed to be a badass warrior. He wasn't supposed to be like cool. You know what I mean? And he was a guy with his dad following Mentor around, which by the way, first use of the word mentor. Great. That's where the word mentor came from.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. His name was Mentor. And that was how, like, what a mentor is, or whatever. Anyway, I just love Tom Holland, and I want everyone to leave him alone, basically.
I think your love of Tom Holland clouds your judgment.
Probably,
but that's fine.
But also, yeah, stop being dicks.
I'm going to move on just because I only have like 14 minutes.
Go.
Han Solo award, coolest scene stealing character. What do you got?
I got a few. I want to give our boy, Himish Patel, some flowers here. Okay? Our guy from Station 11, he's good. He's been in a movie yesterday. He's good in everything he's in. He's in, I think, another Christopher Nolan movie too. He like almost, for half this movie was like the second lead of the film.
100%.
And
yeah,
did a
like
great,
Odyssey's number 2.
Did a great job in this movie. I could understand his frustration. I understood like the mutiny aspect of it, how he was getting frustrated with Odysseus. I just wanted, because he's not like never going to be the name on the poster. And I just thought did a really great job in this movie.
I love that. He's awesome. Station 11, fantastic. And he's great. And I thought he was great in this movie too.
Okay.
I'm going to throw another one at you. I actually really liked Elliot Page's performance as Sinon. I thought that was a cool character and I thought his performance was good. So
Me too.
Better than what I was expecting.
And yeah, that scene at Hades was awesome. You know, it was so good. And it was crazy. You know, definitely like they opened the movie with him, like the first shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the stuff on Hades was great. Yeah, good. I'm glad you mentioned that.
What else you got?
I got the dog. The dog. Anytime the dog was in the scene, that dog was awesome. You know, and they had him sit outside, and his reaction when Odysseus got home and then he died was just like, man, what a way to go. That dog was awesome. So quick shout out to the dog.
That was like full circle moment for that dog.
Yeah, great. Moving along.
I am going to say this is my winner for this one.
Okay, I have 3 left.
There's so many freaking characters.
I know.
Why don't you go through all yours and then we'll close it at the end.
Well, I don't want your. I hope I don't mention it. I'll get Calypso just visually. Look, when she comes,
that is my bad for not saying that. You're right. That's obviously honorable mention.
When she comes on, it really, and people have seen this. It's like a Dior ad or whatever. Like what she like those commercials that she does. Like she stands out in this movie from that point intentionally and as an incredible. Another one I think also Anne Hathaway is freaking insane. If there's one minus Nolan, if there's one guaranteed, I think, Academy Award nominee from it, it's gonna be her. She's just incredible in this movie. So good. So
you're right, dude. You're not wrong at all. And I sometimes approach this category a little bit differently, like people that play smaller parts, like in my head. You know what I mean? Like she's obviously a huge part of the movie, and she really did like steal
every scene she was in. She stole.
Yeah. Which is obviously the definition of the award. My head goes to like smaller characters, but like, yeah, she definitely deserves this as well. So what else?
I have a feeling I'm going to read. I know yours, so I'm going to say my winner, and then you can go to yours and see if we are the same person. My winner, and I already talked about him at nauseam, is Pattinson. Pattinson, anytime the guy is on screen, freaking just was electric, and his sniveling little version of that character was so good. Pattinson was my winner.
We should change this category name to the Electric Factory Award. Freaking Pattinson, Electric Factory in your eyes.
I think I know yours is.
Who do you think it is?
Is it John Leguizamo?
No. I actually did like him. So for me, like John Barenthal is like a very like, I don't know, man. He's an interesting dude to watch on screen for me. So like I thought like when he was having that dinner and telling the story, and then the role he played in the fight in Troy, like I just thought he was awesome. And he stole some of the small scenes that he was in from my point of view. So
let's move right along to the next one.
Okay. All right. So next award is going to be the Adonis Creed Award, character most deserving of a spinoff.
Yep.
What do you got?
Continue your conversation. I had Bernthal's character. Is this in
dude? I kind of could put him in there too. Like there's so much more to tell.
I know
for his. I like where your head's at, but I did not go that direction for him because, like, I thought he was more of a scene stealer. But there's other people that I kind of felt that way about. I mean, dude, there's so many characters. I'm sure you could do a spinoff from John Leguizamo's character.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Bernthal is number 2. I only have 2 for this one, but I would love to know way more of him, how he got involved in the war, his relationship with his brother, the stuff they didn't yada yada, but like the whole like Helen of Troy thing and like Agamemnon like saying he wanted to start this war because, you know, Helen of Troy, the face that launched 1,000 ships, but it was really more for trade routes and like dominating the sea. So that whole, which is like basically the Iliad, I think I would love to know more about that family and that story. And Bernthal being the main centerpiece.
Agamemnon? I don't know. I'm not saying it right. But this is a Bill Simmons moment for me. He would be like one of those 2 people for me. Like, so I'm just going to rip through these. So I would love a spinoff of all that stuff. And they kind of tie a little bow around it as well. I would love a Xerxes spinoff.
Circe?
And I also Circe, Xerxes.
Okay, I was like, who's Circe? Okay, yeah.
Xerxes is 300. If you
Yeah,
remember
okay,
300, he was the king in that. Cool, dude, that was pretty close. And then the Sirens, dude. Give me a Siren spinoff. There's probably not much to that story, but like, give me something on that. I thought those were like very sneaky, fascinating characters. So just a couple things that kind of came to mind.
My winner is Circe. So I think Circe, I would love a Circe spinoff. How she got to the island, how she became a witch, other people that have come, things she's turned animals into, why does she have this distrust in men, and just that actress Samantha Morton was just so good. So she was my winner.
So we're on the same page. We're on the same page. All right, Jack Burton MVP award, and we always do this a little bit different. You know, there's overarching ideas. There's people adjacent to the movie outside of like the actual characters in the movie. There's characters in the movie, actors. You know, so tell me what your thoughts are on the MVP for this movie.
I have 4, and I have 2 that I'll breeze over, and I really think it's a 2-person conversation. So the first 2 I'm just going to mention. I think you, and then do I think they're the winner? Of course not, but they just deserve it. I think Anne Hathaway and I think Robert Pattinson will both get acting nominations for this. And that's why I think Pattinson will be, they're both maybe supporting roles. Anne Hathaway, is she supporting? Is she main? It's tough to say, but I think they're both going to get nominated for this. So that's why I have them in this conversation.
I would say Anne Hathaway in the conversation for me. Obviously, I told you my thoughts on Robert Pattinson, but now you had a great performance too, but Anne Hathaway definitely is in the conversation for this, but I don't think like is going to win it.
Yeah. Know? So that's that. And then I have my 2, 1 runner-up and then 1 winner. So I'm sure we're probably similar.
Yeah, dude, I'm sure we are. I was thinking like as like kind of like a joke one that like freaking Barstool would do sometime, like the idea of IMAX being like an MVP. Like I feel like there's like a lot of hype about like the 70 millimeter.
Absolutely.
And like the fact that this thing was filmed in IMAX 100%, first movie to do that. Like IMAX is obviously the best way to watch movies, and IMAX has been a thing for a long time now. But like IMAX definitely like the spotlight was shined on it with this particular movie. So definitely not the MVP, but you know, be interested to see how
movie theaters in general. I mean, movie theaters in general are so freaking back.
Yeah. All right, so I assume the last 2. Let me guess what the last 2 are for you. Matt Damon and Christopher Nolan.
Correct. In that order. Yep.
Yeah. So I would probably say like Christopher Nolan's like the MVP overall. Like, dude, he's just such a thing. He is the biggest director, right? Is he the biggest director?
If we're doing the rewatchables, you know, which we love, podcasts we love, which kind of was, we kind of found out of this is like Nolan's like Apex Mountain. We're like, he can do literally anything he wants right now. He is so cooking with gas and just like doing an incredible job. So I think he's just a clear winner. There's not many movies that isn't like the mainstream. You're like, I'm going to see the Christopher Nolan movie. You know, you can't say I'm going to see the Denis Villeneuve movie. I'm going to go see.
I mean, I love all of his movies, and there's an argument to make that you could do that, but like people don't do that.
People
don't. I mean, it's Christopher Nolan, Steven Spielberg, maybe to a lesser degree nowadays, but like that's it. But Christopher Nolan's like on a pedestal for sure.
Exactly.
And I think he's just, it's kind of like MJ in his prime kind of thing right now, Brady in his prime, like where he's just in the middle of a great run of movies. And I look forward to seeing what he does next. Damon was awesome in this is a great role for his career. It'll be definitely in that top 3, I think, roles for him when his career is all said and done. And I think if it was any other director, he probably would be the MVP. But in this case, I would give it to Christopher Nolan.
Completely agree. Yeah, Nolan is just the man right now. He's taking a 3-year hiatus, so we're not getting another movie from him from at least probably 2030, which is wild. But from going from Oppenheimer to this, it's like the guy is just a wonder. I can't wait to see what's next.
I didn't know about the 3-year hiatus. That sucks. But I am going to move on. Shawshank Award. This is the like, will this movie matter in 10 years kind of thing? And I think the answer to that is certainly yes. This will be a movie they talk about for a long time, and they'll probably put it in the same category as the Jurassic Parks and all those big blockbusters. It feels like one of those bigger blockbusters over the past few years.
And will it dominate the award season? Is this going to be like Oppenheimer, where I don't know if there has been another director that has won Best Picture, Best Director back to back in movies. You know, with only a 2-year separation between the two. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, he put this thing together pretty quickly.
With Nolan, like, will he campaign as hard as he has? But yes, this movie will 100% matter in 10 years.
So I feel like we're cutting this short, and I do feel badly for this, but
no,
I do have to jump on another call, and someone's already in the waiting room for my team's meeting. But dude, so glad that we did this, and there was so much to digest with this movie. I cannot wait to see it again. I'm glad you loved it as much as you did. I really did too. And I don't know that we missed anything, but hey, we'll see.
All right, cool. Next on the docket, Spider-Man coming out Thursday. I'm hoping I go see it next week, maybe. I'm hoping. And
we'll be podding in another couple of weeks, but they shared some footage at Comic-Con that got people fired up, and that's a whole other podcast that we should probably do on that.
Think. in anything yet. You know what I mean? You kind of forget that she's in this movie, which I've been reading is like people are so confident in this movie they don't even have to show her. So I'm having high expectations for this. Team Holland, man. Team Tom Holland. I hope the guy does a great job.
Your boy. And Barenthal's in that movie too.
Barenthal's Zendaya, freaking Macho or whatever from Better Call.
Dude. All right, I gotta run.
All right,
Dude, we'll do it again in another couple weeks.
All right.
Thanks for doing this.
All right, see ya.